Episode 19, February 28th, 2012. Howard and Kevin, open your mail.
A fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty hi-yo silver, the Lone Ranger! With his faithful Indian companion Tonto, the daring and resourceful masked rider of the plains led the fight for law and order in the early western United States. The stories of his strength and courage have come down to us through the generations, and nowhere in the pages of history can one find a greater champion of justice. Return with us now to those thrilling days of yesteryear. From out of the past come the thundering hoofbeats of the great horse Silver. The Lone Ranger rides again.
Okay.
Oh,
here we go.
Hi-yo, Silver! Away! Hold on.
What? So is this the Lone Ranger? Is that what we're doing this week? We're not doing our regular show.
A radio drama.
Okay, that's fine. So we're not doing Howard and Kevin Open Your Mail.
No.
We're doing
The Lone Ranger.
Okay. I didn't get a script, so if there's like anything you can fill me in on while the story's going on.
All you have to do is you have to say repeatedly every time I'll have like 15 to 20 minutes of dialogue, and then you just have to say, who was that masked man anyway?
I see. I thought I got to play Tonto. I thought you were going to be the Lone Ranger and I'd be Tonto.
The faithful Indian companion.
Yes, exactly.
Anyway.
Wasn't racist. He was just a guy who hung out with the Lone Ranger. It could have been any race.
The faithful Native First Nations American.
Exactly. They were friends.
Companion.
They were friends. Exactly. On a horse, just like that.
You know what? So you know what the Lone Ranger's horse's name was?
Silver.
Obviously, we just said that. Do you know what Tonto's horse's name was?
The off silver bronze.
Oh, a Scout.
Oh, Scout. Oh, interesting.
Get him up, Scout.
Oh,
not that I remember the Lone Ranger. I'm just
like how old are you?
No, it's not that I actually.
Are you a vampire?
But has there ever been like a major motion picture of the Lone Ranger?
I don't think so. Not like a modern one. No, I think they might have had one way back.
Oh no, they had them back in the day.
Because it wasn't just a radio show; it was on the TV.
I could see like Johnny Depp or something.
No, I know it's true. Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah,
we should totally develop that
with like Snoop Dogg as Tonto or something. They'd update it to be something really cool.
Yeah, that's right.
Or Javier Bardem as Tonto.
Hi-yo! Javier Bardem. That doesn't make
anyway,
sense.
ladies and gentlemen, welcome to It's Not the Lone Ranger. It actually is Howard and Kevin Open Your Mail.
But this week we're on horses.
We are. Yeah, we're doing the entire show on horses. And we're trying to keep them quiet. But
Nay. Oh, stop.
Is that your new thing? You say something and then you go, oh, stop.
That was the horse talking.
Oh, I see. Sorry.
Anyway.
So it's episode 19, everyone. 19 times we've come to you with letters for you to hear and listen to, and this is the one before 20. 20 is going to be a big one. I'm just telling you right now.
Be ready for it.
20. Not that this one isn't going to be great, but 20 is going to be the episode.
This is a good one though. Let's not put the cart before
the horse.
The Lone Ranger's horse.
Yes, exactly. Before Silver.
All right, let's officially begin, shall we?
All right, fine, Howard.
Kimosabi.
It's thematically linked. I like that.
Yes.
That's good. Yes.
And so we're gonna point our silver bullets at the letters this week. So thank you all for tuning in, folks. And we're always happy to have you here on Howard and Kevin Open Your Mail.
It's true.
And so episode 19, like you say, pretty exciting. Maybe we should dive right in here.
All right.
Wait, that's not Dive right in. It sounds like we were doing some, Johnny Weissmuller thing. Let me think.
Sorry, who was Johnny Weissmuller?
He played Tarzan.
Ah,
we're not doing Tarzan. We're doing the Lone Ranger. Let's ride on down the trail.
Okay, there you go. That's good. Yes.
And
maybe on the Pony Express because it's mail related.
And well, Kevin, why don't we get right into it?
All right, I've got a letter.
Do you have a letter for us?
Let's do it.
Okay.
I've got a great letter here.
Hi-yo! I don't think that's right. I don't think he had a little.
It sounds like an old man.
He didn't have
character
like a yodel in his voice.
Yeah, you sound kind of...
Hi-yo, Silver!
That's much better.
Away!
This is really enjoyable for all our 95-year-old listeners.
Yeah, they're going to remember,
no one under 95.
I used to sit around the radio with my family.
Did you do some demographic kind of like research about what maybe the people listening to our show is like people over 90?
I'm just trying to bring it back. I want the young people to find the old Lone Ranger episodes.
Sure.
Tune in.
Yeah, none of their Justin Bieber and their whatever the kids are watching these days. I couldn't even come up with anything. I didn't even know what kids like these days.
I don't know. Jonas Brothers. Anyway.
Yeah, Britney Spears.
Yeah.
New Kids on the Block. All
right, why don't you hit us with the first letter there?
All right, letter number 1. Dear Howard and Kevin, do you guys go to a lot of concerts? The last one I went to, I paid $259, and I was so far away that I could hardly even see the band. Bullshit! That's from Heather in St. Catharines.
I haven't even heard of that band.
What? What band?
Bullshit.
Sorry, what?
Doesn't she say that she could hardly see the band Bullshit?
No, that's not the name of the band. That's her opinion.
Her opinion? The name of the band was Her Opinion?
No. No, her opinion is that it's bullshit.
Yeah, you're right. That band, Her Opinion, is bullshit. I haven't even heard of them, and yet they're charging $259 for their tickets to go see some band called Her Opinion. I wouldn't even pay $259 for a band I haven't even heard of. That is bullshit.
You haven't heard of the band Her Opinion?
No.
I don't think she actually mentioned the band. I think she was just saying that it was bullshit. That this whole idea that she has to pay $259, she can't even see the band. Bullshit.
The band bullshit.
No, I'm confused.
Should we go around that again?
No, I got it, I think. I think we figured it out.
That was
pretty good.
It is bullshit. She's right. So let's so Heather from St. Catharines, Ontario.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
St. Catharines. Santa Catherine. It sounds German to me.
I wonder who St. Catherine was.
Well, we'll look that up.
You know what? I'm setting up a follow-up. That's what I did right there.
St. Catherine.
Yeah.
So Heather wants to know, do you guys go to a lot of concerts?
Yeah. I mean, I don't go to a lot of concerts, I must say. I don't see live music as much as I'd like to. Basically because I'm not a huge fan of the experience. Because I would love to see a band live, but I'd much prefer if they just played for me.
Yeah.
Just by myself.
Yeah.
It's the other people. That's the problem with the concerts.
That's the problem with a lot of things.
Well, that's true, yeah. That's the problem with almost everything in the world is other people. But especially at concerts where people are very excited. They're ramped up. They're often either drunk or high. So it's a recipe for disaster, frankly, in my opinion.
I used to go more often when I was younger, but yeah, to me it's got to be some artist that I feel really, really like is really special to me.
Yeah, for sure.
For me to go to that expense.
Lawrence Gowan,
Lawrence Welk,
the Parachute Club, Platinum Blonde. I know all the great bands from your youth.
And yeah, the money, right?
Yeah.
$259 to see some band called Bullshit. It's unbelievable.
Again, I'm not sure that's exactly what she was saying. But I will tell you, the one story I thought of is I went to see U2 in 1997 when they're doing their crazy Pop Mart tour.
If U2 is not the start of an Abbott and Costello routine, I don't know. That's a good point. Yeah. I went to see U2. You went to see me too?
Yeah.
I did not see you when I saw U2.
If only they had lived to 1980 when that band started. Anyway, so I go to, that's pretty funny. So I go to the I go to the U2 concert. Now I don't have a ticket, so I buy a scalper's ticket. So I admit my stupidity. You know, I went illegal
But you went, like, you bought it right there.
I bought it right there
the
outside
show.
of the stadium, yes. And so I end up, like, paying $100, and I get, like, a floor seat. And I'm sitting there I got there pretty early, and I'm sitting there for a while, and then somebody comes along and says, I think you're in my seat. And I was like, well, that could be right. I have a ticket. Here's my ticket, see? But he's got tickets, and then he's got tickets, like, with his friends and everything, and they all kind of look the same, and mine looks slightly different. So I was starting to question whether this is a real ticket or not. Turns out it wasn't, and I got summarily thrown out of my seat.
It was counterfeit.
It was a counterfeit ticket, indeed.
Wow.
Can you believe it? I got screwed by a scalper? The most reputable people in the world.
You got scalped, buddy.
I got totally scalped.
So did you leave?
And not in a good Native American way.
Did you not see the show?
No. What happened was this. I basically, like, showed my ticket to an usher or something, who took me to, like, some sort of, like... it was like a ticket.
Dungeon. Took you to the dungeon.
Yeah, I did,
where you lived for the next 10 years doing hard labor.
Yeah, that's where I've been since 1997. Just got out. No, he took me to, like, a table where they were, like, it was like, if there's seating problems, they have tickets for, like, people, Anyway, the point is that I was given another ticket, which was way closer to the stage. There was, because the concert was such that there was a main stage, and then out in the middle, there was this, like, pathway, and they'd go to this middle stage. And I was about, 7 rows from the front of this middle stage. So yeah, through the whole concert, like, Bono was right there. It was like, so basically my trying to cheat, the music industry or whatever by buying a scalp ticket, which I guess in the end doesn't really, but it was fake, so it did screw them in the end. I ended up with way better tickets.
Wow.
I know. And it was really good. And it was a really good concert, and I enjoyed it quite a bit.
That's remarkable. I mean, I thought you were going to say they kicked me out, and I
what I thought they would
lost $100.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I just looked like so pathetic or like a loser, or they'd experienced.
Did they ask you where did you get this ticket?
No, I don't think they did. I was already with the story. I was like, I got it from my brother, and he said this, right. But I didn't have to use my story, which I kept for later.
Just in case.
Yeah, just in case this happens again, I have a story ready.
Wow, well, that's pretty good.
Yeah, no, it was great.
You have all the luck, man.
Well, I do have amazing luck when it comes to that. Yeah,
everything goes your way.
It does, all the time.
Hearing you say about being on the floor
Mm-hmm.
for the show, like the floor of the stadium, down low near the stage, reminded me of going to a concert with some friends when I was younger, probably a teenager, I think. And so, because it seemed like the thing to do, we decided to go see The Who.
Oh, okay.
The Mighty Who.
The Mighty Who.
We went to see The Who, but we decided just to make it fun and a road trip and a special occasion kind of thing. Yeah. We instead of going, when they came through Toronto, we wanted to go earlier in the tour, and we went to Buffalo, New York.
Oh, wow.
To see The Who at the big football stadium.
That's a long way to go to see Burton Cummings and Randy Bachman. And
not the Guess Who.
Oh, sorry. I'm very confused.
No, you silly.
So you went all the way to Buffalo. You went all the way to Buffalo to
see
where were they playing?
Roger Daltrey and Pete Townsend at like where the Buffalo Bills play, the big football stadium.
Oh my God! Wow. Okay.
And so it was crazy. Right, absolutely nuts. Buffalo's a tough town, and there's a lot, and it was just packed,
right?
Packed with rock and roll fans, right? But what made it absolutely unbelievable, especially when I think back now, is that the entire stadium, so what's that, 70,000 people or something like that, was general admission.
Wow.
There were no numbered tickets.
Oh my God.
You just went in and...
wherever the hell you wanted to be, that's where you were.
If it, in hindsight, I realize now that what we should have done was gone halfway up, sat in some nice seats, and be comfortable. But no, we were like, let's get down on the floor and get as close to the stage as we can, right?
Man.
And not really thinking about how many people would be down there. And so it was bad enough during the opening acts and stuff like that. It was one of those things where there were a bunch of bands and everything. And but when The Who actually came on, and Roger Daltrey comes out and Pete Townsend starts windmilling and everything.
Right.
The crowd obviously starts to push forward.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And everybody wants to get up close to the stage. And it actually, it's getting kind of a bit scary, right?
Yeah, I don't like where this story is going.
This
isn't the story where your girlfriend was trampled to death. Was it?
No.
Okay, because that's not a funny story.
No, that was another time.
Yeah. That was at the Guess Who.
Everybody's pushing, and I actually ended up getting separated from my friends. I had to meet them at the car at the end of the show. It was like we couldn't find each other and everything.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we're in the crowd, and everybody's pushing and fighting and sort of moving forward and trying to get in a spot and trying to see past the guy, and everybody's standing, right?
Yeah.
And there's this guy who's just kind of over there. I can kind of see him. He's a little bit, just 2 or 3 people over, but he is like really starting to get annoyed by all
people
these
pushing?
people pushing and
Okay,
pushing. And he's
yeah.
like, people have got to stop pushing, man. All this kind of stuff, right?
Okay.
And he's really kind of getting angry. The next person who pushes me, getting all kind of mean and upset and everything. So sure enough, obviously, somebody pushes and he kind of gets jostled forward and he snaps. He just loses it, right? And he basically all in one moment, in one quick fluid moment,
Right.
just turns around with his full force of his right fist, throws this wild right hand punch to try to punch the person behind him who's pushing.
Yeah.
And wouldn't you know it, it happens to be this girl who's like probably just been pushed herself behind or whatever.
Yeah.
She's this nice young girl with glasses. And he just clobbers her. Kapow!
Wow.
Right in the face. Just knocks her like a boom.
Yeah.
And she just kind of goes down like a sack of potatoes.
Yeah.
Her glasses are all askew. So she's like in a cartoon,
Yeah.
There's like birds
Anybody
going
get
around.
a number of the train?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Tweet, 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 tweet.
Yeah.
All the birds are going around her and everything.
Yeah.
So I think even on the guy's face, you could sort of see like he realized, oh my God, what have I done? I just punched this girl in the face as hard as I could.
Yeah.
And the whole crowd just even though it all happened quickly, it seemed like to me like it was all in slow motion.
Yeah. Okay.
So this whole crowd kind of parts around this girl and him,
Right.
and he's kind of just standing there over her like he's this sort of conquering warrior.
Yeah.
But now realizing what he's done. And this other guy, who was not with the girl, nor was he with this guy, just the guy in the crowd who witnessed this, just as I did, just basically decided, ain't nobody punching no girl on my watch, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he just became this vigilante. And I just remember, in my mind's eye, his fists started like coming out like he was like a steamboat, just like
like a steamboat. Yeah. Okay, or like when boxers do that thing
like
with the bag.
With the bag.
Yeah, okay.
So he was
But the bag was this guy's face.
Right, and he was like Mike Tyson. But even it seemed like he was throwing the punches even before he got to the guy.
Oh my God.
He was just kind of, his fists were just sort of going, and he gets up and he just kind of comes out of the crowd.
Right.
And just pummels
this
guy whose head was snapping back like one of those dolls, one
like
of those
a rag doll.
Yeah, one of those little
like a
bobblehead dolls.
Yeah.
Bang, 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 bang. And the two of them just kind of disappeared into the crowd, like the sea swallowed them up. This guy's just going backwards while the other guy's just like just pummeling him, and the two of them just kind of disappeared, and everybody else around them was kind of like,
yeah, anyway.
Well, that was unpleasant.
Play Magic Bus.
Yeah, and the poor girl, two of her friends are helping her get to the,
that poor girl,
the
that's
infirmary
terrible.
tent or whatever the hell it was.
Yeah. I got punched in the face tent.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow,
your glasses
terrible.
are all. How's the show started yet?
Exactly.
But man, I know, but none of us ever knew whatever happened to that guy.
Yeah, I wonder.
But after that, I kind of thought, I think I might start going in the opposite direction of the crowd.
I'm gonna
back up a little and
Yeah.
just watch it from back there where it's not quite so crowded.
That's very funny.
Oh
Jesus
man,
Christ.
The Who.
Wow.
But
Well, anyway,
at least I can say I saw the Who, man. Rock and roll.
Babbo fucking Riley. Okay, so So anyway, I'm not sure we answered Heather's question there, but
Well, do we go to a lot of concerts? No, not really.
Okay.
that was a long.
Well, we could have done that really quick.
They're expensive, and it's a lot of people fighting.
It is. That is a lot of. That's the other thing is that they are so expensive. That's ridiculous. It's crazy, and it's also like it's fun to see like smaller bands on a smaller venue, but they also have their own issues because you got the same stupid people, right? Just kind of on a smaller scale.
Yeah, that's right.
And I remember there was a band called the Brand New Heavies, if you remember that band.
Oh, yeah.
It's like the late 90s. And we were all going to go to one of their concerts, and we all got tickets. And concerts, usually, you show up maybe 9, 10, and then they go on around 11, at a smaller venue.
This is like when it's like in a
club
kind
of thing. Yeah, like that. But we all showed up at 9 to see the Brand New Heavies, and they'd already been on. We completely missed them. It was like some sort of all ages show, and they went on at 6. Oh, I know. Isn't that crazy? I know. It's like dinner time.
And you had paid money.
We paid money. We paid like $40 to see it, and we just showed up, and they're like, "Oh yeah, they were already on. You missed them." It's like, "Oh, all right, fine. We'll have a few drinks at the bar." It's just sad. I know. Should really look at those tickets and the timing.
Wow. And that was when they were the Brand New Heavies. Now they're the kind of old saggies.
That's right. It's an offshoot of the
now
group.
they play. Yeah. Now they play at 4:30.
They do, yeah.
They get the early bird special.
The early bird special, exactly.
Well, Kevin, perhaps I should say, Heather from St. Catharines. Thank you for your letter.
It was a good one.
Always nice to hear from folks down in St. Catharines.
Yeah. We'll do a follow-up on St. Catharines next week. But I think we need another letter, Howard. What do you think?
Hi-yo, Silver! Away!
Who was that masked man?
Good for you, Kevin. You knew your line.
No problem. Thank you.
Did you read it, or did you have it memorized?
I prepared in advance with all my lines. That's what I do. I script this entire thing. I don't know what you're doing.
I script it and then have the entire thing read by one of those computer robot voices.
This
is not even really me.
Like the Stephen Hawking voice.
Exactly. Anyway, ready?
Yeah.
Next letter.
Okay.
Here it comes. So here's a letter that came into our email, mail at HowardandKevin mail at HowardandKevin.com.
Correct.
For those of you who are about to write us.
Yes.
For those about to write.
We salute you.
Us a letter. We salute you. Okay. So get this, Kevin.
Okay.
I'm going to read this to you exactly as it came in.
Okay.
The subject heading was Heartiest Greeting from Rose Como.
Okay, yeah.
Dear One, I'm Rose Como, 20 years. I humbly write to solicit for your partnership and assistance in transferring and investing of my inherited fund, US $10.5 million, from my late father, who died by poison early last year. Please, I need your urgent assistance. I wait your reply. Thanks, Miss Rose Como.
Wow, I'm pretty sure that is some sort of spam. What do you think?
Or
do you think it's real?
I don't know what spam is, Kevin. I think that this poor young 20-year-old young lady named Rose Como needs our help. See, what's happened, as far as I can figure here, is that she inherited $10.5 million US
from her late father.
From her late father, who died by being poisoned.
Yeah. Early
last year, and somehow we need to help her. She needs our partnership and assistance in transferring and investing.
Look, I don't want to throw accusations around here or anything, but if her father died, of poison, by the way, and he had, what was it, $10.5 million?
US dollars.
She's got to be a suspect. I'm thinking she's got to be a suspect. This is the...
No wonder she needs our urgent assistance.
Yeah, I think that's what she's looking for, a lawyer, what she's looking for. Because, she'd be right in the top 5 suspects. I don't know if she has any siblings or maybe a...
Do you think somehow we can get a piece of this $10.5 million bones here?
Yeah, I don't think so.
All right, so you think this is spam?
I think we've got spammed.
You think that this is some sort of scam.
I think so. Yeah.
Some sort of trick to try to lure us in.
Yes, I think so.
Some sort of trap. She's spinning her web.
Yes.
Rose Como. Ooh,
Rose
you
Como.
almost got me there, Rosie. These are funny, eh? Like,
they're amazing. Yeah,
for these
I
things?
guess somebody does. So I wonder. Like, I wonder if that whoever sent out the Rose Como email has made any money off
Like,
it or
if
not.
you like, I guess if you reply to her, she's going to say, "Please send me some money because my account is frozen and I need money to help get it unfrozen." Or something.
Right. Yeah.
And I promise I'll give you half.
Or I'll poison
But like, do you think if you send out, I don't know, 10,000 of these,
Right.
and like, I guess you're right. Why would they send them if nobody ever fell for them?
Well, yeah, I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe somebody does fall for them.
Folks,
I mean, there's plenty of dumb people out there, but you'd have to be pretty dumb.
everyone listening right now, Kevin and I are planning on doing a research project on this,
Yes.
and we need each of you to send us $10.
Yeah, $10
so that we can be funded in doing this research. You know what? $100.
Yeah.
We need $100 from each of you, and we promise that once we get to the bottom of it, we will share the earnings of what we, when we break this thing wide open and we get paid some big ransom or not ransom. What's the word?
Reward.
Reward. Thank you. That we will share it with all of you.
Exactly.
So please,
so $500
yes,
from each person listening to this podcast.
Mail at HowardandKevin.com.
Yes.
Send it by money transfer.
That's right.
Western Union.
HowardandKevin.com select customers, it's $1,000.
Yes.
That's our rich guys who are willing to pay for
So please do that, and we promise we will get to the bottom of this whole spam email thing.
Finally. It's funny about emails. I should just mention this quickly. There was this thing we had recently where one of our people who gets our emails about the new show is coming out and that kind of thing. We call it our email blast.
And if you don't receive the email blast, send us a note to mail at HowardandKevin.com and ask to be put on the list.
Always selling.
Yes.
So somebody had signed up for that thing, but they had sent us a little notice to say, like, I think they just sent it out to everyone, everybody in their address book. And it was basically saying, I've changed my email address, please, change it accordingly. But what happened was she set the auto response for her email. So it went to our email, which sends an auto response ourselves out saying, like, thanks for sending us a letter and we may get to it on the show.
Right.
So what happened was she sent that to us. It auto responded to her, which we got an auto response saying, I don't use this email anymore. Please use this address instead. And it went back and forth, back and forth, and back and forth. It must have happened like 20 times back and forth before something kicked in. Thank God.
Sorry, I was trying to make a ping pong sound.
Okay, I thought that was time going by or something.
Yeah. So two computers are playing ping pong.
Yeah, there were basically two computers talking to each other for like half an hour.
Oh my God, that could have gone on.
It could have been an infinite loop or something.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
We could have shut down the whole internet.
We could have. You destroyed the internet. Well, it wasn't me, us. It would be my friend who James Bing on.
That's funny.
Yeah, isn't that funny?
How did you stop it?
Well, because I kept on getting the emails, and I was like, I've got to stop this thing. So then I went on to our email thing to try to turn off our auto reply. I couldn't find it. I had forgotten how we did that. So this is the competency of us and the internet. So I couldn't. So it eventually turned itself off. I guess it's got some, so that doesn't happen and destroy the internet. Right. It auto stops.
Did you say, stop this crazy thing?
Yes.
Jane?
Yes, exactly. Was that from Cheers? What show was that from? I can't remember.
It was the Jetsons.
Oh, yes, the Jetsons. Oh, good.
Meet George Jetson.
Dun, 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 which is probably based in 1985 or something. Those things that are from the past that are supposed to be the future, just completely off.
That's right. But they did get the flying cars in that future.
That's true. We do have them now.
I want those.
Oh, I'd love a flying car.
Those.
That's a funny reference for 12 people. Anyway.
If you get that reference, send us a note to mail at HowardandKevin.com.
I guarantee we'll get 0. I barely remember that reference. All right. Well, that was pretty funny.
So Rose Como.
I
feel bad for her poisoned late father.
I'm sure he's fine. I'm not sure, that story may not be as accurate as we think. Anyway, we should get on to another letter. What do you think?
All right, sounds good.
Our next letter starts thusly. Hey, guys. He just said, hey, guys. It's
not Dear Howard and Kevin.
I know, it's unusual.
Well, I'm not sure I like it.
I know. I'm thinking I should rip up this letter right now because it has not been addressed to us properly.
Well, it's familiar, which is all right. Whoever this is from. Familiar. You want them to be more formal?
I think they should be formal.
Dear Howard and Kevin.
Exactly, every time. Anyway, I'll read the letter regardless, but just this one time, everyone out there writing letters. The letter states, "Hey guys, my girlfriend and I always get in fights about reality TV. She says that it's great entertainment, but I think that it's so fake that you might as well watch scripted shows." I see. So I said, I know. Sorry, I had the inflection incorrect there. What he's saying is, so I said, I know. I'll ask Howard and Kevin. She agreed, so I'm asking you, is reality TV worth watching? That's from our number one fan, Steve from Paris, Ontario.
Paris, Ontario.
Yeah.
All right.
Not too far from London, Ontario.
I know, all the European capitals of Ontario.
It's true. Amsterdam, Ontario.
There used to be Berlin, Ontario.
Was there a Berlin?
Which is now Kitchener-Waterloo, and they changed the name, I think, during World War I.
Really? They're like
embarrassed.
We are not living in Berlin. I'm telling you that right now.
Even though that's still a big German community there. Anyway, all the fans we have in Paris, Ontario, Steve is our number one fan.
Yeah, does he just mean from Paris, Ontario, or just in general he's our number one fan?
Well, he's probably done some sort of study.
Probably, yeah, some independent research.
So Steve and his girlfriend are always getting in fights about reality TV.
Right. So she thinks it's great, but he thinks it's so fake that you might as well watch a scripted show.
Now at the end his question is, so I'm asking you, is reality TV worth watching?
No.
So my answer, no. Okay, moving on.
Yeah. Next up is
ha. Although I'm not a big fan of reality TV myself.
Well, although there's always the thing is that it reality TV when it started, it seemed to me, and then people started calling it reality TV. It was a very I think there were a lot less shows that fell under that net of reality TV. So yeah, like I didn't like it. It was a lot of.
I think the first big one was Survivor.
I guess so.
Right?
Yeah,
that was the one that
kind of
started the whole craziness.
Yeah, Fear Factor, that thing. It's always some sort of contest where people have to endure.
Yeah, I think there's two real genres of reality TV. One is the sort of contest one,
right?
Like Survivor or Fear Factor or.
Even like American Idol,
or The Voice, or America's Got Talent, or whatever.
Right.
Then there's the other type, which are the, I guess you would call them reality documentaries.
Right.
Things like Jersey Shore.
Oh, yes.
Or the Housewives, what's it called?
Yeah, the Real Housewives of wherever.
Right.
Yeah.
There's like things like Toddlers and Tiaras, about those like...
terrible.
Or Dance Moms.
Oh, they're basically documentaries based around, let's watch awful people. Let's watch them do really terrible, awful things, and we can all judge them and laugh.
And my guess is that it's those kinds of shows that Steve is really talking about here with he and his girlfriend. Because when he says...
We don't want to put words in Steve's mouth, but
when he says that he thinks it's so fake, because I think what he's talking about is the fact that, I mean, he's right, really. Those kinds of documentary reality shows are not reality at all.
In most cases, the participants are real people.
Yeah, that's what makes it reality.
Like they're not real actors. I think on some shows they actually are actors, but
no. But I think in most cases they're real people.
Yeah.
And the situations might be sort of real-ish.
Yeah.
But I think what's happening, and I'm not spilling any beans here, but I think what's happening is that the producers are guiding the drama, or they're focusing on certain areas, both in terms of...
I won't have it, Howard. It's all real. I believe every minute of it.
Or even just in the editing process, they choose to show you some things and not other things, right?
Yeah.
But you have to figure that there's producers behind the scenes who are saying things like, did you hear what Josephine said about your kid?
Yeah.
She said your kid was ugly. What? Wait, before you respond, let me get the camera going.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No.
My kid's not ugly. You should see her kid. Her nose is like a pig nose. And then
that's actual dialogue from one of these shows, folks.
So I think that they kind of build that sort of.
I think so. Yeah, there's always a producer just off camera who's saying like, maybe say something bad about that kid,
But you know what's funny is like some of these shows have just gotten so outrageous now.
Yeah.
So as comedy. I was going to say comedy performers, is referring to you and me.
Yeah.
Maybe that's too strong a word. Maybe I should say as comedy attempters.
Yeah, that's really more like it. It's like comedy amateurs.
Right.
Really.
So as we're trying to do comedy, often, Kevin,
Yes.
I'll tell, as you well know,
Uh-huh.
often what you try to do is you try to come up with an exaggerated version of something for comedic effect.
That's
right?
true.
But these shows are so outrageous that you can't get more outrageous.
It is hard to parody them.
You can't parody them. They're so crazy.
That's true.
Have you ever seen this one, My Strange Addiction?
Oh yeah.
It's on I don't know, TLC or one of those channels.
I just like to say that I haven't seen these shows. I don't go on.
No, I don't either.
I don't tune in to find these shows, but they're just in the zeitgeist. They're just like out in the world. Like you cannot get away from them.
That's right.
It's like I know about this show just because somebody forwarded me something on Facebook or Twitter or something.
Yeah, I've never seen one frame of Jersey Shore.
No,
but people talk about it all the time.
Exactly. Yeah, I have seen Jersey Shore, but only because it's terrible. But it's like you can't look away sometimes.
But if I was sitting here trying to make up some hilarious, outrageous fake episodes of My Strange Addiction, you couldn't because they're so outrageous already.
Yeah.
Like there's one about a woman who
what is that one about?
The show, it's basically about people who have these unbelievably ridiculous obsessions.
Okay, yeah.
That ruin their lives.
Right.
What? Well, for example, there was one about this woman who eats dryer sheets.
Oh, yeah.
Her whole life is revolved around eating those sheets that you put in the dryer.
Yeah. Well,
she can't.
It's
delicious.
like
the episode was like she wasn't. She really wanted to break the habit so she could get back to being a good mother to her kids. Her whole life was revolved around. No, of course not.
I mean,
there's one about a guy who is so obsessed with picking his scabs all the time, and every time they grow back, he picks it again.
This is television. Great.
What's another one? Drinks nail polish.
Was
the one where this woman she drinks at least 5 bottles of nail polish a day.
Now, is there something scientific behind that? Is she lacking something in her body? No, you know what I mean? Is there something in nail polish that we all need, but we get it from somewhere else?
No.
Or this is just crazy?
I think these are people who have mental issues.
Obviously.
And I'm not saying that as a joke. I mean, clearly this person...
No, like a real one.
The thing is about that compulsive disorder.
The thing about that show, and also the hoarder type shows, all those shows about people. It's like they're doing these shows. They're doing nothing to help these people, but we're just looking at them.
Yeah,
we're just
we're going to be voyeurs.
I've watched several of those hoarder type shows because that kind of is interesting, but it's interesting in the kind of way that it's like this is like a freak on the bus. It's like I can do nothing for this person. The show is doing nothing for them. I mean, they have this this stupid kind of fake kind of. We've got a couple of psychologists on that are going to help you through this time. Yeah. It's they're not doing anything. By the time the cameras leave, those psychologists aren't hanging around either. You know what I mean? It's just, let's look at the freak. That's really what this is about. It's the modern freak show is what it is.
Well, that's right. Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah.
Modern freak show.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be a good title for... Maybe we could start our own. That's
you think we should do that?
There was one
Howard
of those...
and Kevin's Modern Freak Show.
Howard and Kevin present. There was one of those My Strange Addiction ones about a woman who has... I forget the numbers, but I think she's had something like 100 breast augmentation surgeries. They spent hundreds of thousands of dollars. Imagine the idea that there's some doctor out there who would give you a breast augmentation when you've already had 99 of them.
Oh my God.
And, obviously has these ridiculously enormous breasts, but she's addicted to the idea of breast enlargement.
Oh,
what a thing. What a crazy world.
It is a crazy world. It really is.
Nutty, eh?
Wow. Well, I mean, I guess, I don't know, where are we coming down on this?
Toddlers and Tiaras. We mentioned that quickly earlier. This is a show that so we all, I think most people would agree that the idea of putting 5-year-olds in beauty pageants and making them up with makeup and dressing them in
basically sexualizing them at 5 years old.
I think most people would agree that that's not a good idea.
Yeah, morally reprehensible in a way.
Is this show Toddlers and Tiaras are we glamorizing it or are we exposing it Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think the producers care either way.
No.
They're putting the freaks on the air.
They just want to hear, they just want to hear the mom say, "Can you believe that Jolene sang the song that my daughter was going to sing?"
Exactly. It's like that John and Kate plus 8 show, right? About the people with 8 kids. It's like the producers do not care what happens to that family. They just want to put the freaks on the air with all the kids and just see what happens. They don't care at all about the terrible things that are going to happen to that family because of this, and these poor kids who have no control over what their stupid, moronic parents are doing. First of all, having them on a TV show in the first place, they have no control over that. It's child abuse. Like, that's what it is. It's just child abuse, and like I just it's unbelievable that that's allowed to happen. But, that's TV.
And it also speaks to the idea that there are so many people in Western world who would do anything to be on television.
Oh, of course.
They don't care that they're being made fun of. Or that they're being put down. They are just happy to be on TV.
Yeah, exactly.
They think their lives are going to get so much better once
Some of them don't even have Southern accents. But you're right.
Look, I'm on TV, Ma. I'm from Connecticut.
Anyway, do you think we've gotten to the heart of Steve's letter?
I think Steve is going to have to accept the fact that his girlfriend is one of millions, because these things they're not going away because they're cheap to make.
No.
So I much prefer, as Steve puts it, scripted shows.
Yes.
But these other shows are so cheap that producers don't, they can't be bothered. Making big, fancy, expensive shows.
They'll finally reach a point where eventually we're just going to have like live televised executions. Like, it's going to be like The Running Man, if you've ever seen that movie, where it's just like contest where people die. They're trying to win something. It's like Survivor, but people actually die on the show, and we'll be entertained by that. I think we'll get there eventually.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
It'll be great.
It's a great world.
Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe we should move on. Thanks for your letter, Steve. And I hope that you and your girlfriend can find a way to enjoy each other's, favorites.
And bienvenue from Paris, Ontario. They all speak French down there, don't they?
Well, perhaps it's time for us to ride on down to the next segment of the show.
If I'm not mistaken, Howard, I think it's time for in every show for when we look at things from past shows, which we like to call follow-ups with Howard. What an intro. Go.
Yes. So only a couple of things to follow up from the last show, but the very first one, Kevin, I'm going to get right into it.
Oh, God.
Is Tommy Hilfiger a German person?
It's important. I want to know.
So here's the answer. No.
He's not?
Okay. But there, I will qualify that. Tommy Hilfiger is from the United States.
Yes.
He was born in Elmira, New York.
So he has no German accent whatsoever.
What's that? It's something from It's a Wonderful Life. I want to spend Christmas in Elmira with my family.
Wow, that is an obscure reference.
Anyway, so he's from Elmira, New York. His mother is Irish Catholic. He has a big Irish Catholic family.
Okay.
However,
yes.
Oh, and part of his it said in the thing I looked up that part of his mother's family has a Scottish background too, and that he believes that he's a direct descendant of the Scottish poet Robbie Burns.
Oh my God! So, you should have been doing a Scottish voice the whole time,
right?
Not German.
Tommy Hilfiger. But it turns out that Hilfiger, I was correct in my suspicion that Hilfiger is a German name.
Well,
and his father
probably could have figured that out.
His father was Swiss German. His family history.
I see.
So
they're from Switzerland, but
the German part of German-speaking part of Switzerland. So
wow.
There you go.
Wow, interesting.
So Tommy Hilfiger has
I think
a little bit of German in him.
We have to go back and redo that show
with a Scottish accent.
With a Scottish accent, yeah, the whole time.
Och, in a wee, I'm a Tommy Hilfiger there, lad. Let's go make some new fashions there, laddie.
Exactly.
Lads and lasses, aye. Okay.
Not any less annoying.
So moving on, that's the Tommy Hilfiger.
All right, good.
And then the other one is that we talked for a little while about Toronto Mayor Rob Ford.
Oh, we love him.
And we mentioned that one of the adventures that Rob Ford has got himself up to is that he's doing this...
what's he up to? What's he doing?
Losing weight for charity thing.
Well, that's a good thing.
So I thought I would just do a little follow-up on that. So as of...
I've been gaining weight for charity. Is that...
How much are you making on that?
Not much, but I am eating a lot of good stuff.
So as of a few days ago, Toronto Mayor Rob Ford is down 2 pounds this week to 308.
I'm down 2 pounds this week. I'm not trying to raise anything for money.
For a total of 22...
I missed one meal, and I'm down 2 pounds.
For a total of 22 pounds lost since the Cut the Waste Challenge. That's waste, W-A-I-S-T.
I see what they've done there. Yeah.
That began on January 13th, 2012. His brother, City Councillor Doug Ford...
Oh, that other genius.
Lost 3 pounds this week and weighed in at 252. He's down 23 pounds.
Wow.
Rob Ford and Doug Ford originally weighed in at 330 and 275 at the start of the weight loss challenge.
330?
The brothers say, however, that it's getting tougher to lose the weight.
I bet.
And get this. The mayor said the food, not the exercise, is the hard part. And it's been especially tough because his children like going to McDonald's.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
God forbid his children should learn maybe to eat.
I'm not sure those kids love McDonald's as much as he does. I've seen those kids. They don't look...
They'll get there. You just give them time, Kevin.
Unless they get into some sort of charity.
Those kids have a nice 332-pound future ahead of them. I promise you that. Anyway, so we'll keep our eye on Rob Ford's weight loss. See if we can get down below 300 by the time we get to our next podcast. It does get harder, though. That's what people have told me, that who are trying to lose weight. At the beginning, you kind of lose a lot quickly.
Yeah, of course.
Then it gets hard later. So Rob Ford may have challenging days ahead of him. Anyway, that's all to follow up this week, Kevin.
All right, well, that was great. Thank you.
On the old podcast.
And I think that we're just about up. We're wrapping up the show here.
We're just about up the river.
We're just about up the
up the river without a canoe.
Yes, all that.
Whatever. So anyway, it's been fun, folks. Thank you once again for checking us out and tuning us in, and don't forget to gather your whole family around the radio each evening and find out the latest adventures of the Lone Ranger
and Howard and Kevin.
Yes, we come on right after them.
We do, yeah.
The Lone Ranger is like our lead-in.
Yes.
Well, thanks everybody. Don't forget to check us out by subscribing on iTunes. If you don't like that, you can listen to our episodes on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. Follow us on the Twitter, and like us on the Facebook.
There's lots of ways to enjoy us,
and we would be ever so grateful for all those things.
Yep.
And well, thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Kimosabi.
My pleasure, Ranger. Ranger Howard.
Who was that masked man anyway?
It was Howard.
It was me. Yeah. I blew the cover.
Yeah, you did.
Anyway,
you don't
thanks
have to wear
everybody.
The mask anymore. And thank you, Howard. And don't forget, everyone, on HowardandKevin.com, you too could send us a letter, which we might just read and answer on.
Howard and Kevin, open your mail.